The Eidolon sector lies at the heart of the Eye of Terror, at the point where reality bleeds away into the formless tides of the Imperium. Stronghold of the Despoiler, headwater of every Black Crusade, there is no mortal law here that is not imposed by cruelty, and no physical law beyond the whim of the Dark Gods. Sortiarius is the current homeworld of the Thousand Suns Traitor Legion. Ringed by the screaming souls of the betrayed dead and blasted by the tides of the warp. It is a planet no sane man would tread without cause, or at least without a numberless army at his back.
The stars bled crimson over Sortiarius, the demon world of the Thousand Suns. Reality itself trembled as Magnus the Red, the Crimson King, shaped the warp to his will. With a mere thought, he twisted time, unraveled minds, and sculpted nightmares into existence. His power was limitless, his vision unstoppable, a grand design that would reshape humanity's fate forever. Yet the Imperium would not stand idle. From the void, the Grey Knight's Third Brotherhood, led by their relentless brother captain Arvan Stern, made ready to strike. Their silvered armor warded against corruption. Alongside them, the Dark Angel's Fifth Company, commanded by the battle-hardened Master Lazarus, descended into the abyss, their mission to end Magnus's ritual before his will reshaped reality itself. But Sortiarius was no mere battlefield, it was his world, a realm where thought became form, where sorcery wove illusions so perfect they could rewrite history. The warriors of the Imperium were not just fighting the Thousand Suns, they were fighting against the very nature of existence itself. Victory was uncertain, survival was unlikely, but failure meant bending the knee before a god, and so the assault on Sortiarius began. This is one of those battles that shakes the galaxy to its core. The Grey Knights, humanity's last line of defense against the demonic, found themselves on the brink of disaster when the prognosticators, using the speculum infernus, foresaw something terrifying. Magnus the Red, the demon Primarch himself, gathering immense war power on Sortiarius. But here is the kicker, they couldn't figure out why, and when you are dealing with Magnus, that's never a good sign. Now let's set the stage. The Great Rift had stretched the Grey Knights thin, and they could only spare the Third Brotherhood under Brother Captain Arvan Stern, a single brotherhood against an entire demon world. Yeah, not good odds. So a call for reinforcements was sent out to the Dark Angels, because if there's one thing the Unforgiven know how to do, it's wage war in the shadows. Master Lazarus and his reinforced Fifth Company answered the call, and together these two elite forces rendezvoused in the Prosperous system, ready to take the fight to Magnus himself. Now, here is where things get really interesting. Magnus's ritual site was protected, not just by the Thousand Suns, but by a powerful energy field emanating from a temple complex nearby. That meant orbital bombardment was off the table. So the battle plan? The Grey Knights would hit the ritual head-on, while the Dark Angels would take out the temple and disrupt the power supply. Sounds simple enough, right? Wrong. This is Sortiarius we're talking about. The entire planet is a shifting nightmare of sorcery. As the Grey Knights advanced, the Thousand Suns unleashed their greatest weapon, illusions. An entire battlefield turned into a labyrinth of lies, trapping the knights in a psychic nightmare. So in true Grey Knight fashion, they did the only thing they could, fight fire with fire. the librarians reached into the warp to dispel the illusions, knowing full well that doing so might invite something far worse, and that's exactly what happened. A portal ripped open, and out stepped Kaldor Drago himself. Yes, the Kaldor Drago, the banished Grand Master, the living legend. Lost in the warp for centuries, his very presence was enough to tear through the deception and reveal the path forward. With the way cleared, the Grey Knights pressed on, but there was a problem. Their numbers were dwindling fast. Stern knew they couldn't do this alone, so he called for the Dark Angels, but something was wrong. The Dark Angels had received a message, supposedly from Stern himself, saying the ritual was already stopped and they were pulling out. The only problem, Stern never sent that message. It was a lie, whispered into their minds by the demonic forces. When the Grey Knights managed to reach the Dark Angels' librarian, Barakiel, the truth came out, and by then, the Dark Angels were already on their way out. Now this is where things get desperate. The only way to reach the Grey Knights in time was through the warp. That's right, a direct tunnel through hell itself. The Dark Angels and Grey Knights librarians knew what that meant. They knew it would cost them their lives, and still they did it anyway. Their sacrifice opened the way, and the Dark Angels surged forwards, guns blazing. Even with their combined might though, it wasn't enough. Magnus's ritual was nearing completion, and the battlefield was drowning in a tide of Thousand Sons warriors and demons. So Stern made the call, one final brutal gambit. The Grey Knights formed a psychic beacon, directing their strike cruiser, Burging Sword, to fire directly on their position. Yes, you heard that right. The bombardment tore through the battlefield, annihilating the ritual site in a storm of destruction. Magnus's plan was undone, but at a terrible cost. Many of the Grey Knights and Dark Angels were lost, either in the blast or to the horrors of Sortiarius. Stern, Drago, Lazarus, they made it out, but not everyone did. Many were left behind, captured by the Thousand Sons, and if you know anything about what happens to prisoners on Sortiarius, well, you understand why the survivors could only imagine the worst. But the Grey Knights don't forget their own. Soon after, the Castellan champion Garan Kroll was sent on a rescue mission, and that's a tale for another day. So what do you think? Was this a victory or just another step in Magnus's endless twisted schemes? Let me know your thoughts, and as always, stay vigilant. The war never ends.